Welcome back to Tammy Addy Academy. My name is Tope, the founder of Tammy Addy. I'm a fashion designer and your fashion teacher. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to draft an A-line skirt. Let's get started. In a previous video, I showed you how to draft your skirt block, and I mentioned that you can develop different skirt designs from your skirt block. And so we're going to be developing our A-line skirt from our skirt block. Trust me, this design is very easy. The only thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to be transferring our dart to our M line. So you're transferring your dart to your M, and I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very easy. The first thing you need to do is to draw out a line. So I already drew my line, and then you place your skirt block on the line. So we are going to start working with the front bodies, sorry, with this front skirt block. So this is my front skirt block, and I'm going to trace out the top start. So I'm going to trace from this point all the way to this first dart leg over here, that leg opening. So I'm going to trace it out now, trace it out and mark out, extend my dart leg all the way to my paper. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace again, but I'm going to be tracing the M halfway, not fully. After doing that, the next thing you're going to do is we're going to close our dart. And in closing our dart, we're going to be transferring the dart to the M. So how do we do that? Take your pencil, put it on the dart end point, and then move your dart. So let me do that again. So we're going to be closing our dart. So I want to move this dart to this dart leg to this dart. So basically we're closing up our dart and closing it and moving the dart to the M. So take your pencil, put it on the dart end point, and then you move your skirt block. Move it, and then trace out your skirt, the remaining part of your skirt. And transfer your hip line, which can also act as your notch. So trace it out halfway on the M, not fully. And that is what our A-line skirt looks like. Simple, easy, straight to the point. So I need to connect these 2 points. What I would do is, usually our A-line skirt on the M is not like straight. It's a gentle curve. So I'm going to connect these 2 points to make it like a slight curve. So that is what it looks like. Our A-line skirt front is ready. So I've marked out the center front. So let's do the back. Let's work on the back. So now we're working on our back, and we're going to do the same thing we did on the front. The only difference is that on the back we have 2 darts. So we're going to be transferring these 2 darts to the M of our skirt. So have your line, draw out your line, then trace out the top. So trace it out from your center back, stop at the first dart leg, transfer that leg from your block to your paper. So after doing that, we're going to close. So same thing we did on the front. Hold your pencil to your dart end point and then close. So you move it. So you move the other dart point to meet this dart point. Then you trace it out. This is a very short tracing. And then mark out the other dart. Extend it. And then close it again. Okay, and then trace out the rest of your skirt. Transfer your hip line. Don't forget to transfer your hip line like that. And keep tracing out. Keep tracing out. Trace out till you get to the M halfway again. And as you can see, I forgot to trace out the M on this side. So I just take my block back, position it back. It's not a big deal. If you forget, it's not a big deal at all. Match it back and then trace it halfway. Okay, move my block away, and then I need to connect both points again. It's a gentle curve, remember, we're not doing anything excess. So connect those points, and this is your center back. And as you can see on this center back, you can see that the back has more volume compared to the front. So I'm going to show you that. Compared to the front, the back has more volume compared to the front because the back had two darts. Because we had two darts on the back, that's why the back M has more volume compared to the front. So what are we going to do? We are going to add more volume to the front M. I'm going to add more volume to the front M. So our front had one dart, our back had two darts. The width of each dart was 1 inch. So the width of the darts on the back was 1 inch times 2. That's 2 inches. So I'm going to transfer the 1 extra inch that we had on the back. I'm going to add it to the front. Okay, I'm going to add that to the front. So let me show you. So what do? Take your ruler, you mark 1 inch, 1 inch like this. So 1 inch from this side to this side, I'm adding 1 inch. And then I'm going to draw. First of all, let me connect this line, extend that, and then I'm going to join that line. It's going to go above the hip line, above the hip line here. Let me just mark the hip line to make it more visible for you. So I'm going to join it above the hip line because I just want it to blend in well. That's why. So just eyeball it and make sure you're blending it well. So just connect that to that. I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. There you go. There you go. I've added more volume to the M of my front. We have more volume on the M of our front, and now it balances out with the back. One last thing we need to do before we go, we need to make sure that the front side seam and the back side seam are the same length and that they align. So what am I going to do? I'm going to measure from my hip line here down to the M. What is the measurement there? What measurement do I have? I have 16.18, and then I go to my back side seam and I do the same thing. I measure from my hip line. So let me mark my hip line to make it visible for you. So I measure from my hip line down. Measure from my hip line down. And my measurement here on my back side seam is 16 inches. On the front, it was 16.25. So I'll mark 16, sorry, not 1/4, 1/8. So I'll mark 16.18, right? And then extend it, and then just join that to the M like this. That way, your front and your back would match. So this is what your front and back A-line skirt looks like. This is what it looks like. You may not be able to see it fully on the camera, but you get the gist. So this is our front. Let me just move it one more time. This is our front over here. This is what your front looks like. And that is our back. So when you want to, or when you're sewing your skirt, when you're done sewing, before you hem your skirt, before you fold up your hem, you need to hang up your skirt for about 24 to 48 hours. The reason being that because of the movement that we did, we moved the skirt out of grain. So that means that if you don't hang your skirt for a few hours before you hem it, over time the side seam is going to droop or drape more. It's going to come down more compared to the center front or the center back. So the side seam is going to be longer than the front. So that's why you need to hang your skirt for a few hours before you now continue sewing your garment or before you finalize hemming your skirt. So this is what our A-line skirt looks like. This is your front, and we add the back over there. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new in this video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the description box below. I will see you in my other videos. Thank you for watching. Happy sewing.